All right. Hello, hello, hello. We are back. We are back. It's been such a long time since we went live.
24
I
hours
missed you.
exactly.
Yes. No, I was
Welcome
talking
back,
about 10
everyone.
minutes ago. I was talking about 10 minutes ago. I
Oh,
missed
yeah.
you, Ali. It's been like, I haven't seen you for a long time.
Yeah, it's been way too
And
long.
yeah.
Let's catch up. There's actually a lot
Yeah,
to
let's
catch
go.
up. So we have a massive situation today that suggests
Oh,
a lot of buildup, and I'm going to get to that. And there's
oh,
some funny stuff
okay.
as well. So we're going to get you guys updated on everything that happened today that suggests that we are going back to the strikes. And there's a couple of funny things that we want to show you guys as well.
Okay. Oh, well, okay. Well, now I don't know what you're going to show us. So now I'm intrigued. Okay. Let's get into it.
All right. So I'm going to go ahead and share the map here. The map. All right. So we told you guys
Bring
that
it up.
there's going to, oh yeah. So we told you guys that there is a buildup of war measures. So different countries in the Persian Gulf are preparing for this. There's a lot of aircraft that just arrived in Saudi. We're going to show you guys all of that, starting with the United Arab Emirates, who have been found to be building anti-drone measures around some of their oil refineries. So you can see them building these scaffolding in multiple pictures around the Dubai airport, like
Oh,
this,
wow.
for the anti-Shahhed drones. So some of the Persian Gulf Arab states, the first line of defense that they have implemented is that they brought Ukrainians in, and these Ukrainians actually came up with a genius idea because they've had to deal with Russian Shahhed drones every night. So what they actually came up with was the Shahhed drone makes a ton of noise. If you guys have heard clips of it, it's like this huge whirring, whizzing engine in the sky. And what actually the IRGC and the Russians would do was fly these drones under radar so the Ukrainians or the Persian Gulf Arab states couldn't detect them. And the Ukrainians came up with this idea. Why don't we just put acoustic sensors everywhere to pick up the noise from these Shahhed drones? And from that, they were actually able to pinpoint the location of these drones and come up with countermeasures. So in case some of those drones do get through, the UAE, and I'm assuming a lot of other ones, these are the only ones that we found them today, that they've been building these, that other countries have been building similar countermeasures like this. So that is the first suggestion, that they are preparing for the worst case scenario.
Wow. So they think something big is coming. So this is just that major military operations are underway.
Not only do they think that the strikes are going to resume, but they think a lot of drones are going to be thrown their way. And so first line of defense, the acoustic sensors, their radars, all of their interceptors, and they still think that the drones are going to get through. So they built these.
Wow. Everybody. So first we got news that United States has a new name for the upcoming Operation Sledgehammer. Now we're hearing this. So what do you think? What are the chances of something big happening soon?
I still think 100%. My defense
100%.
was always, yeah, I still think that, because what I've been saying since late January is still the same, which is the Islamic Republic wants this, U.S. and Israel want this, and they have yet to come to any sort of compromise. So nothing's changed, in my opinion. And we would like to show you that just next door to the United Arab Emirates, in Saudi Arabia, we have seen an immense amount of United States aircraft flying in, including 15 F-16 fighter jets. So 15 more fighter jets landed today, and they were photographed. You can kind of see these tiny little specks here in Prince Sultan Air Base, located in Saudi Arabia. And this is pretty much the route that they usually take. This is also a B-1 bomber. And these B-1 bombers have been taking off from their base in the UK, and they've been flying all sorts of missions around the Mediterranean to prepare for upcoming potential strikes. So all sorts of training maneuvers have been going on. The total number of F-16s alone at Prince Sultan Air Base is now 53.
Somebody in the chat saying won't happen while Trump is in China. I actually think that you can't say that, because in fact the fact that you think that might actually mean that it will happen while Trump is in China, because that would be the, like, I'm not saying it will, but it could, because that would be the time that they least expect it. So take that into account, that would give them the element of surprise. And then somebody else in the chat saying, I believe only 24 hours from now until Trump departs China. Okay. Yeah. What do you think? Do you think that Trump being in China makes this more likely or less likely that will happen soon?
Here's what I was thinking about China. Regarding China, I thought he wasn't going to strike right before he goes there, because there was a slight risk that maybe China would cancel his trip, and that would look really bad for him. But now that he's there, I think as soon as he gets what he wants, maybe we go back to the way it was, and maybe right afterwards. It would make the most sense. Everything's pretty much ready. The nuclear sub's there, and that thing can launch missiles from 4,500 miles away. So it can sit like deep into the Mediterranean and hit Tehran like a piece of cake with tomahawks. They brought in all sorts of stuff. You know what's interesting? I haven't heard about the Boxer. I don't know where that is.
Yeah, where is that?
And another thing, we heard a lot of talk back when the actual strikes were going on about the paratroopers, the 82nd Airborne, and then we heard nothing about them. We know that there's a lot of cargo planes, and I'll actually pull that up. So a lot of airlifts have been happening since then. Last week, they weren't. So last week, we actually kind of had a lull in the airlifts. But guess what happened again today? Okay. So back here. Oh, wait. Okay. And, well, I guess I didn't pull it up. But there are immense airlifts happening today that are two types of airplanes. There's refueling tankers and there's cargo, with most of them being cargo coming in from Europe to the Middle East. And the refueling tankers are in the air because those cargo planes need to get to the Middle East. So they can't even get there without being refueled. That's the type of infrastructure that the United States military has. And we, the US is, I think at this point, probably pretty scared of the IRGC, because they do have tarps that they paint helicopters on, and they do get to blow those up. So we have a slight, they're pretty equal, I think. But speaking of China, I would like to show you guys a couple of cool things. So we're going to show you guys the moment that Trump got off the plane with his team, and he was promptly greeted by something that he actually very, very much liked. We'll show you guys this.
Girls? What? What?
He stopped to look at these girls waving the U.S. and China flag. He actually liked it so much that after they resume the walks and he gets in the car, he actually stops the car and looks at them again. I thought it was funny.
I don't blame him.
So he's right there.
I bet you he's gonna go back home and try to recreate something similar. I bet you President Trump is like, why don't we have something like that back at home?
Yeah, he actually, when he went to Saudi and they had that I think it was like a traditional cultural dance with the hair and the swords. He loved that too. So I think he really likes these grand, lot of
Yes.
people around just for him, which kind of distracts from the fact that Xi Jinping himself wasn't there to welcome him. But
Oh,
interesting stuff.
ouch! Why?
Not
That
sure.
is not good.
I
Security
think what I
reasons?
thought about that
What?
was that Xi could project strength, but not show up himself. But at the same time, make Trump happy by having hundreds of like people and bands. There was like a huge marching band there too, giving him a show.
I mean, I would rather see a whole bunch of girls rather than Winnie the Pooh, to be honest. But okay.
Yeah. But for the 7th time today, I want to see what you think about this. For the 7th time in general, actually, we have seen that the United States Senate has failed to block the Iran war powers resolution. So 49 people voted yes to block war powers, and 50 voted no. So we are still safe. The war can still continue, but it's getting very close, 49 to 50. It's a bit too close for comfort, in my opinion. The only Democrat who voted no is our John Fetterman, who seems to
Yay.
be the only intelligent person in the Democrats.
Only
What do you
one,
think
hey?
about that? This is like the 7th time, I think, that they've tried to limit the war powers. And every
Wait,
time
what
that
is?
they question Pete Hegseth and everyone, they ask the stupidest questions imaginable.
Yeah, they're clueless. They seem to be clueless. So Thomas Messi is not in the Senate, right? He's in the Congress.
Is he? I think so. Yeah, I think so. Republican, right?
Yeah, because Thomas Messi is Republican and he's against the war.
Yeah.
So I don't see his name there. So I'm assuming he's a congressman, right?
Probably.
Right? Because
yeah.
he would have voted. He would have voted yes here if he was there. Guys, Americans. Oh yes. Okay, fantastic. So Neil Bunny is saying yes. Okay, but that is close. Wait, how are we this close? Like it's by one vote?
Yeah.
One vote? We are saved by Fetterman, guys. Fetterman saved us. See, not all Dems are bad. But what would happen? Hey, here's the question. Like, what would happen if this got voted in? Like, would they even be able to do anything?
I think a lot of their powers would be limited, but I think the most important one in general would be that they have to start moving troops out. Like they have to start de-escalating, which is the scariest thing for me personally is seeing that.
Okay, first of all, somebody says 2 votes. No, 1 vote, because one flip would have twice the effect. Because, yeah, 1 vote would be enough. And also, I just got a message in Persian that I need to respond to. This breaks my heart. Hadi. Just breaks my heart. saying آرمین داداش کجایی به خدا 2 ماه شده تو جمهوری به خدایم برنامه نذاشتی خیلی خیلی نگرانت بودم خدا رو شکر خوبی داداش خیلی دوست دارم. So guys, Heidi is saying, Armin, where are you? For 2 months you haven't had a show on Atheist Republic in Persian. I was very, very worried for you. You know, thank God you're okay. I love you. Heidi, هادی جان من هر روز برنامه داشتم ولی چون تو ایران اینترنت قطعه وظیفم دونستم که بیام تو بخش انگلیسی برنامه بذاشتم. من هر روز برنامه داشتم، هر روز روزی بعضی موقع حتی بین 8 تا 12 ساعت بعضی موقع برنامه داشتم. So guys, I'm telling him that the reason why I haven't been on the Persian channel is because internet is cut in Iran. So it wouldn't make sense for me to it makes more sense for me to make shows in English to support the military operations against the Islamic Republic. And sorry, Hadi. ببخشید هادی جان دارم ببخشید من. All right, sorry, go on. Just had to respond to that. Just felt so bad. I feel like I let them down.
Well, it makes sense because the Wi-Fi is, well, actually that directly ties into this. So
Yeah.
this is pretty much the reason why you can't do that. We have now entered the 75th day of internet blackout in Iran. 1,776 hours without internet. The interesting thing about this is that in this graph, you can see that there are tiny, tiny little bumps here.
Oh, yeah.
These bumps signify that some accounts in Iran are allowed to have Wi-Fi, which are the pro-regime people who sell this Wi-Fi at exorbitant prices to regular Iranian citizens to take advantage of them.
Yeah. So it's turned into a mafia, basically. That's what it has turned into. So internet, they cut the internet, but now the regime is actually making money off of it because they're selling the small amount of access that they're putting out there for very, very expensive, like astronomically much more expensive than it's supposed to be. And the regime is now making so much money off of those little, bumps. Is the regime making crazy amount of money, giving access to only a few people in exchange for so much money? And Ali, I don't know if you saw, but they're also now offering it to people who post in favor of the Islamic Republic and the people who come out into the streets and hold Khamenei's picture, Mushtaba's picture, and support the regime. They know that Iranian people are so desperate for internet, and they're also losing momentum in the streets. So they're trying to use the desperation for internet as a way to get more Iranians into the streets. So internet in exchange for regime support. That was, by the way, this is a confirmed report, by the way, guys, which is insane.
Yeah. I can't imagine myself without 2.5 months of internet, especially if I ran a business or, anything like that. Someone in the chat is saying, Ali, did you see statement from the UAE denying visit by Bibi? Yes, the UAE published a very official statement, a whole letter, denying that Benjamin Netanyahu visited the UAE.
What?
I don't understand why.
What? How could you deny such a thing?
Because, well, 2 days ago, news came out that the UAE did strike the Islamic Republic. So what are they scared of?
I mean, they didn't confirm that either, did they?
Yeah, well, they didn't deny it either, but they denied this.
Because this is just such a taboo. So actually, this was their original reporting that we have had. So, I mean, I believe Prime Minister, I don't think Prime Minister Netanyahu would lie about this, right? Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu visited the UAE during the Iran war and met Emirati President Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed. His office said on Wednesday, yep, this has happened. This is not something that Netanyahu would lie about or his office would lie about. Their visit resulted in a historical breakthrough in relations between Israel and the UAE, according to the statement by his office. I think they're just so afraid of the backlash associated with this. What do you think?
You would know the backlash better than me. I'm not too familiar with Israeli UAE relations, other than that I know that they're not very normalized.
Yeah, I mean, the entire Islamic and Arab world would look at that as a major red line cross, and maybe they're afraid of more Islamic Republic. I don't know what they're afraid of. I mean, there's nothing else that the Islamic Republic could do on top of what they've already done against the UAE. Or somebody saying ungrateful cowards. I mean, the threat is real. To be okay, yeah, but you're right. Yeah, Fine Stars is saying they even wrote it on their official account, like UAE official account. I want to see that. Let me see.
Yeah, they did.
Which account is it? Do you have that?
I have the link for it actually. Yeah, I'll share it. It's in Arabic, but they denied it. And this is what's being widely shared by the official account of the UAE Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
What is their handle? I'm going to bring it up for myself as well.
It's in Arabic, but
No, the handle.
OMFA UAE.
OMFA?
Yeah, MOFA UAE.
Oh, MOFA. 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 Okay, got it. Wow. Wait, I think it would be worth it if we just give it to AI and translate the whole thing. Let me just do that really quickly. So, translate this. So, just giving it to Gemini for, oh, let's go to this one. No, here. Put it here. That's better. Okay. So here's an based on official statement. The UAE denies reports regarding a visit by Israeli Prime Minister or the reception of an Israeli military delegation. Denial of reports. The United Arab Emirates denies what is being circulated regarding a visit by Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to the country or the reception of any Israeli military delegation on its territory and the nature of relations. The state confirms that its relations with Israel are public relations established within the framework of the well-known and announced Abraham Accords. Transparency. These relations are not based on secrecy or hidden arrangements. Cowards. Official verification. Consequently, any claims about unannounced visits or arrangements are baseless unless they are issued by the competent official authorities in the UAE. I'm pretty sure the Israeli officials are more competent than the UAE officials. And then call to media. The state calls upon the media to ensure accuracy and to avoid circulating unverified information or using it to create political impressions. I wonder which one should I trust, the Israeli officials or the UAE officials? Very hard choice. Very hard choice. I don't know.
There's also rumors that Lebanon has submitted a letter to the United Nations condemning the IRGC. Like the
Lebanese government.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
That is expected. What did they say?
That the IRGC have caused widespread destruction, that they condemn it, that they aren't affiliated with the IRGC, stuff like that.
I mean, yeah. I mean, the Lebanese government is very much against IRGC. Like, they hate the IRGC. So the new Lebanese government. I mean, they kicked out the ambassador, and the guy was like, nope, I'm staying, which is actual colonialism. If the official government of a country wants to kick out the ambassador and the ambassador says, like, I'm staying, that is basically colonialism. And that's not an exaggeration.
You know, more and more people are sharing the Pope giving the award. Like a lot.
Oh, that was denied. Did you see that? That was the Pope came out and said that's fake. That we never did that. Did you see that?
Interesting.
So before we go to that, actually, let's go find that post, that response by the Pope. But somebody asked a question here. He's saying, has Israel responded to this? Did Israel respond to that? No, we didn't see any. I mean, we haven't seen it. Okay. But yeah, let me actually find the post, because here, I don't know, Pope. I don't know if I could find. What do I even search for to find it? Goldie showed it. Oh, I think I found it. Yes. Oh, that was. Just search for. All right. So instead of changing the layout when we share a screen, we should first go to this scene and then bring this up. Oh, what the hell? We should go up there, not down here. There we go. Okay, so look at this. U.S. in Holy See. So that's the account. That's the official welcome. This is the U.S. Embassy to the Holy See. Okay, so they say, contrary to news reports, Pope Leo has not bestowed an exclusive special honor on the Iranian ambassador to the Holy See. This decoration is given to all accredited ambassadors to the Holy See after 2+ years of service, and has been okay. So they did bestow to them an honor. It was not an exclusive honor. Okay, so it's just basically for anybody, any ambassadors to the Holy See after 2+ years of service, and has been standard practice for many years. It is so this doesn't change much compared to the original report. Actually, now that I look at it,
No.
this is basic. So it wasn't fake news.
Sounds like they're trying to cover it up.
Yeah, this is so it's not fake news. They did honor. Okay, I take that back. I thought the correction was that this did not happen. Okay, but the only thing that is being corrected is that, well, this is not that special. Okay, well, the claim was not that this is very special. The claim is that you fucked up by honoring the Islamic Republic at all. I don't care that you do it for other people. This is a representative of a country. Not a country, a regime occupying a country that it just did a massacre upon its people. So yeah, this is just an excuse. So actually the news is not fake. The news is real. They're just making it seem like it's fake, by making it a straw man, as if we said, like, we didn't say it's oh no, the news is fake. It was not exclusive. Okay, who gives a shit? We didn't say it's exclusive. Saying it is a personal recognition, so they did recognize him. It is a personal recognition and does not imply support or opposition to any policy or country. Well, it does, actually. You're lying, because you're just saying it's not a special honor, which means it is an honor. You are showing them honor, and that means that it is in support of them. 13 ambassadors were recently given this recognition, so you did give them recognition, which is support. Previous U.S. ambassadors have all received the same. Well, this one shouldn't have. This is different. That's a false analogy. Just because previous U.S. ambassadors have received it, this is different. Imagine if you had an ambassador from the Nazi regime, and you basically honored them, you give them this recognition, and you're like, well, we do it with all ambassadors. Well, fuck you. This is different. You shouldn't do it with them. Previous U.S. ambassadors have received the same. Finally, the decoration was not given in person by the Pope. Okay, go on.
I went on the Vatican website and I looked at their calendar from the official events that they have posted. So it seems like the picture that's circulating is something that they didn't post on their website, but maybe got leaked. But what they do have on their website is that they had this ceremony. And so you actually see different kind of like religious leaders with the Pope. But then you see this guy.
There you go.
And that is definitely Mullah clothes, like undoubtedly.
Yep.
So it's not a far cry to maybe after this ceremony, and obviously they would have wanted to publicly hide it, but it got leaked, for him to have just handed out that award to the picture that we see being circulated. But regardless, this is still a mullah, and he's still shaking his hand and giving him award, which this is what they're claiming, that they gave the 2-year award to everyone. This is what they're talking about. So they're not actually addressing that picture that's going viral. But the Pope did give it, like he's personally giving it. I don't know how much more personal it can get.
Yeah. I mean, has he come out and announced at all that that he can? Oh no! Don't change the layout. Change the scene, and then change the. There we go. Okay, because then it would be all messed up. Yeah. Has he at all came out to suggest that the massacre upon the Iranian people, like, has he condemned that yet? No. Oh my God.
Nope, that's our issue with him. He just says stop the war.
I mean, isn't that the entire job of the Pope? Like one of the most, I mean, other than covering up for pedophiles, isn't that this, at least, I mean, if I think in the top 10, the first one being covering for pedophiles, in the top 10 jobs of the Pope, one of them is to come out and make meaningless statements against bad things happening in the world. So how did this slip through?
Just goes to show how power is being concentrated in different areas throughout time. Maybe 500 years ago, his word would have been pretty influential, but now I don't think anyone really cares.
Oh, by the way, people are saying Ali has over 500 subs now. So yes, actually.
Oh yeah, 502.
Oh, 500. Let's go up here. Guys, look at this. Ali has 502 subs. So guys, make sure you go and subscribe to Ali's channel. And let me put the link in the chat. So we're already halfway there.
Oh, do you know what I've been naming our lives?
What?
If you just scroll down a little bit.
Okay. Iran war update and live discussion made. Okay. I analyze Iran with a genius. The arming never. Oh, wow. Brilliant Iranians theorize arming the Iranian people.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Genius discusses Iran FT Armin Navavi. Oh my God. I love these names. Awesome. Okay, let's go back here.
I have a few more things. We have one follow-up from, remember that clip of Prince Reza Pahlavi being interrupted at Politico?
Wait, remember what?
There was like this,
oh, yeah.
that Iranian woman.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, so they found out who she is. Where is this? Wow, I just got discombobulated for a second. Okay, here she is. So, this person, who is a complete and utter embarrassment, disrupted Prince Reza Pahlavi yesterday at the Politico Security Conference, which, by the way, was actually not the first interruption. It was the first interruption of Prince Reza Pahlavi, but there was another pro-Palestinian who interrupted another segment of it. So I don't know about Politico's, I don't know who they're letting in, but this person, her name is Bita Bahdani, and she has ties to the Islamic regime through Nyack.
Oh. Free Palestine.
Yeah. So that's.
So look at the wrist. Go back to that picture.
Oh, this one?
No, the one that you were just saying that had the bio. Oh yeah, look at this. So much to abolish, so little time. Yep, that summarizes the disease that these people represent. So much to abolish. These people have, I don't know. It's a sickness. No, guys, this woman is not political. This woman was in the audience, started yelling while the political lady, who's also retarded, by the way, was questioning Prince Reza Pahlavi. Do you have the audio of the interruption?
No, I'd have to. Actually, wait. Maybe I have it in yesterday's map.
Yeah, they build nothing. Exactly, Nail Bunny. They build, like in the chat, Nail Bunny is saying they build nothing. They only know how to destroy.
No, I don't have it, but I'd have to find it.
It's okay. Don't worry.
Do you want to get annoyed? There's something that
Yes.
Mohammad Reza Shahbazi, a host on Iranian state broadcasting, said that really grinds my gears. So I want to see
Sure.
if it grinds anyone else's gears. So he said, in response to the criticism about the internet blackout in Iran, he said, if these things matter so much, go live there. Because people have been saying, in Syria, you have internet, you have 5G. In Afghanistan, you have 5G. You can use Visa, MasterCard, these things. And he said that. So this is actually, it's kind of a drawn out clip and he really annoys me. We can play it if you want. It's all in Farsi though. So we
no,
don't have to
play it.
actually,
Play it. I want to
okay.
hear the Persian garbage.
نوشته تاریخی بعد از 15 سال در سوریه اولین تراکنش‌ها با ویزا و مسترکارد انجام شد. جزو ساده ترین ها در جهان که مردم ایران دهه هاست ازش محرومه. یه کانال دیگه هم به همین پرداخته. بعد نوشته تو افغانستان اینترنت نسل 5 راه اندازی شده، تو عراق تلگرام رفع فیلتر شده، سوریه هم مسترکارد اومده. ایران ولی 11 هفته است اینترنت قطعه. یه جواب خیلی ساده و واضح. اگر انقدر این چیزا مهمه، پاشید برید اونجا زندگی کنید. دوست دارید برید؟ مثلا افغانستان، سوریه، دوست دارید برید اونجا. برو افغانستان زندگی کن، عشق کن. اینترنت نسل 5 اومده. برو سوریه صفا کن، لذتشو ببر. کیف کن. با مسترکارد میتونی از آمازون چسب پهن بخری. هر لحظه که بمبارانه بزنی شیشه هاتو درست کنی.
Unbelievable. This guy, you know what? How about we end you and we just take our country back and then we could have normal internet and Visa and MasterCard and our own payment systems and do that instead of going to Afghanistan. How about we just end you? How about we just fuck you up and on Minecraft and just end you and everything that you're associated with, and we just have internet in our own country instead of leaving our country. Unfucking believable. I think that's a better solution. How about we just fix our country?
Do you see the last thing he said? The audacity for him to say, "Oh yeah, so if you want internet so bad, so you can buy duct tape off of Amazon to tape your windows when they throw bombs down, so the windows don't break." Like,
as if we have bombings in Afghanistan, but not in Iran. You have brought war to our country.
That guy's going on the list. He's going on a list.
Oh, he is already on the list. That guy is famous.
That
guy, there's so many clips from that guy that angers the Iranian people. He is on so many people's lists, and I think like he goes on these recording sessions and he specifically thinks about how could I go viral by saying the most annoying things to anti-regime people. That's what he thinks.
Oh man, too many of these people. Someone said Kuwait is hitting the IRGC. So we actually covered this yesterday, or I think everyone else. But basically,
Kuwait or
yes,
UAE and Saudi Arabia.
We actually talked about this yesterday, so I'll show you.
Before you say, somebody saying, "Can you please, guys, say hi to me?" Hi, Stanley. All right, but go ahead.
Where is it? You're on war map. All right. So.
Yep. Nope. Let's bring it back. Okay, remove it and share it back again. All right.
There we go.
But let's go up here. There we go.
Cool. So yesterday we talked about how Kuwait did have a clash with the IRGC. So you guys can actually see I put the pin here on Bubiyan Island, which is a funny name. But basically, this is pretty much very much on the border. And what actually ended up happening is that 4 special forces of the IRGC, special forces, ended up trying to go to this island to destroy some American anti-missile defense batteries. They were promptly found by Kuwaiti forces, which actually resulted in a firefight. And that firefight ended up with one Kuwaiti soldier injured and 4 of these IRGC people captured. Now, there have been a lot of statements thrown back and forth. The Deputy Foreign Minister has been asking Kuwait to relocate these 4 IRGC members who were captured into the embassy, the Islamic Republic embassy in Kuwait. But they are still being detained as far as we know. So I think that...
Yeah, but what is Kuwait doing about it?
I don't know why they were detained, but like...
No, but like they're not doing anything aggressive. Like they took the people who are like... Obviously, you should arrest the people who are doing terrorist activities, but the only thing they're doing against the Islamic Republic is sending them a letter, which is pathetic.
Yeah.
By the way, Newton said, I want a shout out, say hi to me, please, as well. Hi, Newton. And then also Arta of Persia. Arta of Persia saying, I also want to hi. Hi, Arta of Persia. Arta of Persia. There you go.
Yeah, how do I move the banner?
Oh, no, you need to go to next. You know, on the left, you need to change scenes and then remove it from there. Instead of changing layouts, change the scenes and then keep this scene without sharing. So don't change the layouts per scene. When you change the scene, keep that layout already has the sharing in it. Like
Gotcha.
Each layout will be associated with the scene. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, so Sketch is saying, yeah, it was a defensive action and a letter. Yeah, so no offensive action. Oh, love you, Armin. Well, love you back. Thank you. And then somebody else said something. Oh yeah, but the letter might be strongly worded. Okay, yes, you're right. Okay, I'm sorry, Kuwait. I thought you're pathetic because the only thing you did against the Islamic Republic is send them a letter. I didn't consider the fact that the letter might have been strongly worded. That is actually very scary. That's a good point, sir. Did you see the new New York? What is this? Hold on. We have New York Post and Wall Street Journal report regarding the Islamic Republic not having lost its. So look at, what do you think about this? Let me read this to you. So classified military intelligence assessments from early this month show Iran has regained access to most of its missile sites. Missiles to most of its missile sites, launchers, and underground facilities, including U.S. Intel assesses Iran has restored operational access to 30 to 33 missile sites it maintains along the Strait of Hormuz, and 90% of Iran's underground missile sites are partially or fully operational.
How do they know that?
Okay, let me check.
Like, I mean, how would they even know that? Wall Street Journal, I'm pretty sure, does not have access to classified military information.
So let me read everything I know about this thing. As of mid-2026, multiple investigative reports, most notably from New York Times and the Wall Street Journal, have confirmed the existence of classified military intelligence assessment that align exactly with these figures. The assessments show that Iran's missile infrastructure has proven far more resilient than public government statements previously suggested. So here are the key findings. The classified assessments compiled earlier this month paint a sobering picture of Iran's military capabilities following the joint U.S.-Israeli campaign, Operation Epic Fury, that began on February 28, 2026. So U.S. intelligence has indeed assess that Iran has restored operational access to 30 of its 33 missile sites, overlooking the strategic Strait of Hormuz. Only 3 sites remain completely inaccessible. And then roughly 90% of Iran's vast network of underground storage and launch facilities are now considered partially or fully operational. These facilities are often buried deep under layers of rock, making them extremely difficult to destroy with conventional munitions. And then we have Iran still retains approximately 70% of its mobile launchers and 70% of its pre-war missile stockpile. This includes a mix of long-range ballistic missiles and cruise missile capabilities of targeting both land and sea assets. And then let me see. So the intelligence, where is it? The intelligence comes from. So these are. So how do you know this? High-resolution satellite imagery, GEOINT. This is the most direct method. Military satellites and commercial ones like Maxar provide before and after photos of every known site. The unsealing during the initial strikes in February, many entrances of Iran's missile cities were buried under rubble. Recent satellite passes have captured images of heavy machinery, bulldozers, and excavators clearing these entrances. And then we have thermal imaging. Satellites equipped with infrared sensors can detect heat signatures. If an underground facility is operational, it generates heat from power generators, ventilation systems, and human activity, which glows on thermal maps even deep underground. And then we have signals of intelligence. Intelligence agencies listen to the visible waves coming from these facilities, radar and comms. Even if a base is underground, it must communicate. Monitoring encrypted radio traffic or detecting the ping of air defense radars near these sites tells analysts which bases are back online. And telemetry. When Iran tests or moves mobile launchers, they often use electronic guidance systems. U.S. spy planes and ships in the Persian Gulf intercepts these signals to track the launchers' locations. And then we have movement and logistic trackings. Intelligence isn't just about the base itself, it's about the traffic around it. Mobile launchers, for example, analysts have spotted mobile launchers, the trucks that carry the missiles, moving out of facilities that were previously thought to be destroyed. If a truck drives out of a cave, that cave is officially accessible. And then we have supply lines, increased truck convoys carrying fuel, food, and parts to these 33 specific sites along the Strait of Hormuz provided the breadcrumbs for analysts to count exactly 30 active locations. And then we also have post-strike assessment. This is the most revealing part of the recent reports. It turns out the U.S. didn't actually destroy most of these sites. Yeah, so they destroyed the entrances, not the sites itself. So it's basically sealing it versus collapsing. So you have a lot of granite on top of them that makes it very difficult for bunker busters to get to. So they just seal their entrances instead. So because of shortage of heavy bunker buster munitions, GBU 57s, the U.S. military opted to seal sites' entrances rather than collapse the entire underground mountain. So intelligence planners knew how much dirt was moved to seal the sites. When they saw Iranian engineers moving the same amount of dirt out, they could mathematically confirm the sites were being reopened. And then we also have human intelligence and leaks. Well, these are less public. Sources on the ground basically play a huge role. We have a paper trail. Classified assessments often include data from informants or intercepted internal Iranian military memos discussing repair progress and readiness level. And then we also have intelligence leak. The specific 30 out of 33 and the 90% figures came from a classified briefing prepared for the White House earlier this month. This fact that these numbers are so precise suggests they came from a formal integrated threat assessment that combines all the methods above. What I want to know, if these were classified, how did they get access to it? Oh, we got a super chat from BT June. Wow, official first super chat of this live stream. Sent my. Oh, okay. Sent my. What is that? Let's see. Send my super chat to Tusi with information. Oh, guys, Tusi is. Thank you, BT. So, thank you for that. I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, love Tusi, obviously. Thank you, BT June, and yeah, first super chat of the stream. So, what do you think about all of that? But also answer this: if this is classified, how did they get access to it?
That's what I'm wondering. There's no way that they got access to the latest information. Everything that they just said, I've been seeing for a long time. So that's probably what they're talking about, and they just compiled a report of all of that. Also, even if it's true, let's just say in some world, after the 30,000+ strikes that the United States and Israel did, somehow the regime still has 90%. They've only taken out 10% of their missile capability. Let's just say that's true. But most of them are stored underground. Well, we're just going to hit the entrances again. Like, they can't take the missiles out from underground and just put them out in the open. They have to stay down there. So just hit the entrance. They want to clear it up with bulldozers. Either take out the bulldozers because now they're classified as combatants, or just hit the entrance again. It's not a big deal. They have only so many missile launchers anyway. Doesn't really matter how many missiles they have underground. They can't use them. Hit the railroads, things that we've already done. I mean, hit the railroads in particular. Now they're really screwed because they can't move those missiles to areas that they really want to. They can't move their missile launchers to safer areas where they can fire from. It just, yeah, that's why aerial supremacy or supremacy or superiority is the most important thing in war. That's why Pakistan is winning the war in Afghanistan.
So people are asking for what are the sources to this. Guys, I'm not saying we should trust these sources, but the sources is the New York Times, Middle East Eye, Chosun Daily, the Jerusalem Post, and Anadolu Agency. What the hell is that one? I mean, the Jerusalem Post is even reporting on this. So don't, here, let me show you.
Do you think some of the commanders could be like, hey, why are you holding out on me? If you got all these missiles left, like, give me some.
Wait, say that again?
Like how, like, there's the provincial commanders? Some of these missile bases, if they have so many missiles, even if they really don't, but it's being reported that they do you think they'll get suspicious of each other? Be like, hey, give me some.
Oh, yeah.
I want some.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure there's a competition regarding who gets access to this.
Because everyone who's stayed at this point in the IRGC is staying because they think the winner takes all, and they're going to be like way better off in the future. So I think they're going to be securing doing everything they can to secure that for themselves. So yeah, competition amongst themselves is a good idea.
But what do you think about the Jerusalem Post? Look at this. Look at the headline. Iran retains access to majority of missile launch sites. U.S. intelligence shows. And this is not the New York Post. This is the Jerusalem Post.
I mean, they're not wrong. They do have access to majority of them. They dug up the entrances of a lot of them. But so what? Once the strikes start again.
Yeah, it's easy to close them again. Boop, boop. You're just basically, it's like whack-a-mole, right? So okay, so this is a negative, and here's the positive. Okay, so the missile cities, unfortunately, have not collapsed. The missile cities under the mountains are still functional. Okay, that's the bad news. The good news is that it was easy to seal their entrances with very little, with not that big of an explosion, with simple missiles. You don't need bunker busters, right, to seal them. And then you could easily, at the beginning of the next war, at the beginning of Operation Sledgehammer, you could go boop, 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 and just basically seal them again, close the entrances again. Yeah, exactly. BT in the chat is saying boop boop, quoting me, Armin. Exactly. So we could just do that again, easy. And also, in response to your question, how did they get classified information? This is what I have. Okay. And this is, again, according to the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, Democracy Now!, and Middle East Eye. If you guys were like, where are you getting this from? Okay. So we have internal whistleblowers, which I don't know, this should be illegal. So multiple people familiar with the assessment likely officials in Pentagon or intelligence agency disclosed the findings to the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal. So that sounds like treason to me. I don't know. And then we have these officials reportedly leaked the data because they were concerned that the Trump administration's public claims that Iran was decimated were dangerously different from the actual intelligence on the ground. Well, if this intelligence on the ground shouldn't be available to the public, you're basically, what the hell are you doing? And then major news outlets vetted, okay, yeah, basically. When you're saying major news outlets vetted and leaked documents and confirmed the details with additional sources before publishing the report on May 12 to May 13. And then we have some details were also inadvertently or intentionally hinted at by members of Congress, such as Senator Mark Kelly, who publicly discussed munitions shortages and the resilience of the Iranian targets in television interviews. So these people shouldn't be allowed in future meetings, security meetings.
Yeah, that's why we had some of the generals be fired.
Yeah, yeah, wow.
But also, guys, like, don't freak out about that. Not only can we just close the entrances to all these sites again, but we had all this time to double, triple, quadruple check where they are and just find more targets. All this time.
Also, this confirms that the only way to get rid of this threat is regime change. Okay, once again, all of these military operations are only temporary solutions. And if you just stop with these military operations and the Islamic Republic lives, it will go back to where it was, and you would have to do this, redo this all over again. The only way to not just hurt the Islamic Republic, but make sure we don't have to deal this ever again, is not to weaken the Islamic Republic, but to end the Islamic Republic. Right?
Yeah. They're just gonna, by the way, it's the same thing about the nuclear. You can destroy their facilities as much as you want, but as long as they have the knowledge, they'll just build more in the future.
Yeah. Sketch is saying, how many times did I say leaks? Has it been 5 times? We never doubted you, Sketch. You've been saying that. You were correct. Yes, you were correct. We didn't doubt you. You were correct about this.
So I had
new Tennessee Magbag IRGC. All right. Yep.
I had 3 things. So 2 things that are tied to China, and 1 thing that's tied to the drone support. I think we should start with China. But before we get there, I just want to remind you guys that this Saturday, Prince Reza Pahlavi is going to, here, I'll show this. He is going to have a tech conference with a bunch of Iranian tech CEOs and prominent people. Oh, sorry. There we go. So his team posted this in 3 days, this Saturday, in San Francisco. These are people who will be speaking. For those of you who don't know, this is the ex-CEO of Uber. He kind of made Uber what it is now. Shervin Pishavar, he's, oh my God, I forgot what he was. What was he? He was like a really big, he's the one, basically, he's the one who got the Starlinks into Iran. He's the one that helped Elon Musk get the Starlinks.
Wow. Guys,
forgot
these
what
are
company.
apparently like big tech giants, Iranian tech giants in San Francisco that Princess of Pahlavi is meeting with.
Yeah. This guy actually, I think, where'd he go? Okay, yeah, this guy. So Kamran Khansania, he's also the chief of staff of Prince Reza Pahlavi. And there are a few people that don't like him. I think because they think he's not pro Pahlavi, but he's literally the chief of staff. So it's a bit interesting. I don't know too much about that. But yeah. Oh, Saeed
there's a
Hossein
lot
is
of
going to speak.
who? Oh
Saeed
my, I love him.
He's going to speak.
I
Yeah.
love that guy. I love that guy so much.
Speaking of Saeed Hossein, moving on into the China-related news. So he just posted this, which is that the Iranian crude exports to China are 0 barrels now.
What?
Yeah.
Here, really? Like, how's that possible? Is there like no way to get it on from land to China? 0? Are
Yeah.
we sure about that?
He's saying that, I mean, that's what he's saying, and he is the oil expert.
Okay. Iranian crude oil to China has reached 0 barrels. Oh my god. Wow. Look, wait, let's go to full screen. Where is it? She or he? Oh my god. Oh my god, so adorable. Hi. What's his name?
Zuko.
Zuko. Wow, what a unique name.
Let him go.
Zuko. So cute. Oh, I didn't know you're a cat person.
Yeah, I like animals.
Yeah.
I like animals a lot. Oh my god, there's so much hair in my hands now. I'm actually allergic, but
oh,
I just deal with it.
Wait, I don't. Let's bring that back up because I don't know if I believe this. 0 is like a big claim.
He's been claiming this since the beginning of May. So he's saying that since 13 days ago, there have been 0. Oh, guys, Zuko from Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. So let me actually see what the numbers are when it comes to oil to China from the Islamic Republic. So according to latest tracking data from tankertrackers.com, as of May 12th to May 13th, Iran has failed to successfully export crude oil by sea for 28 consecutive days. So are we talking by sea? So the U.S. Navy and allied forces have effectively physically blocked the waters around the Strait of Hormuz and Khark Island. That's Iran's primary export hub. And tens of millions of barrels are currently stranded at the sea or sitting in floating storage because tankers cannot safely exit the Gulf. The Persian Gulf, goddammit. Okay. But is China still receiving oil? Okay, while new loadings from Iran are currently at a near standstill, China is not at 0 in its daily consumption of Iranian crude yet because of 2 factors. Oil and water. Okay, so that would still mean 0 exports because these are from before. Oil and water. As of mid-April 2026, there were roughly 157.7 million barrels of Iranian oil already in transit on the water, with over 97% of that destined for China. These ships are slowly arriving at Chinese ports after long voyages. Okay, so that still means that the export is at 0. because these came up before. And then we also have floating storage. China maintains massive floating buffers of Iranian oil in its own coastal waters, estimated at nearly 40 million barrels, specifically to withstand this kind of supply shock. So, but we have key updates. Yes, capacity crisis. So new sea shipments at 0 barrels, successfully cleared for 28 days. Land exports, though. Okay, land exports, we have 250,000 to 300,000 barrels per day. So not even 1 million, a third of a million, right? Barrels per day. This is like really low. Like when it's under a million, when it's like that's basically, so like here, like we were talking originally, like if you go back to above, we were talking about 40 million barrels that is floating storage that China has, and we were talking about 157.7 million barrels that is already in transit. But now these numbers that we're looking at when it comes to land exports, we're not talking even 1 million. We're talking maximum 300,000 barrels per day to neighbors like Turkey, Pakistan, and Afghanistan. So those are the land exports. Those are the land exports of the barrels that are like the oil barrels are going to. Those oil barrels are not going to Turkey, Pakistan, and Afghanistan, and it's under 1 million, which is like nothing. So China's supply drawing from existing floating reserves and pre-blockade transit. So the number that is associated with the land export that the Islamic Republic has access to is so insignificant that it wouldn't make China, like it's not worth China's hassle, like because they're dealing with 40 billion in their own floating storage and 157 that was oil and water. And this is like this is 1/3 of a million that the Islamic Republic is managing to get at via land, whereas basically for China is like nothing. It's like peanuts, right? But China, instead of relying on the Islamic Republic's land exports, is basically drawing from existing floating reserves and pre-blockade transit. So yeah, actually that's accurate. Which means what?
Which means the regime has made $0 regarding crude oil exports.
Say that again, sorry.
So in the past 2 weeks, the regime has made zero money off of exporting crude oil.
Well, I mean, we still have 300,000 barrels per day on land exports.
Oh, they will make zero money as soon as
that is basically zero, right? So is 300,000 barrels per day the entirety of the export by the Islamic Republic, and how much that is that making them, and how much is that in relation to what they were making before? So let's look at that, because 300,000 is nothing. Like that's so low. I didn't know it's that low. That is close to zero. Also, I got distracted. The reason why I didn't hear your question is because I got distracted by Matthew in the chat saying, Armin, you're an atheist. Why must you put God in your damn it? Oh, God damn it. Well, because I'm an atheist, there are no rules. I could say whatever I want. As an atheist, I could say God as many times as I want. Okay. Why should I stop myself? But
right, what do you say? Here's his post that I brought up last week on our show on May 6th. And he was comparing the February exports, which were 2.1 million barrels per day, to, so we can find that, February 2.1 million barrels per day.
Okay, so that's how much they were exporting in February?
Yeah.
Okay, now they're making less. Now it seems like they're making only 300,000 barrels per day. That is the entirety of new physical crude oil exports currently leaving the Islamic Republic.
His projection was that in May, exports would fall to 100 to 200,000 barrels per day. So we're on track.
So let's figure out how much they're making. At current market conditions, Iran is earning significantly less than, oh, no kidding, less than it was just 2 months ago. So daily revenue approximately $30 million to $33 million per day. So global Brent crude is hovering at 110 to, okay, let's once. However, because Iran must sell this oil via gray market, gray market land routes, and offer steep discounts, often $15 to $20 off, to entice buyers during a blockade, they are likely knitting around $100 per day, or like maybe $90 per barrel. But let's go with 100, right?
Yeah.
And the land, go on.
I just did 300,000 barrels at $90, and I got 27 million.
Let's do 100, just to be conservative.
About 32 million. That's nothing. It could be 50, it could be 100 million.
Okay, but they're also moving it via truck, which means that they have to pay a lot of fees in truck fare. So the 300K the 300K barrels per day is moving via truck and rail to Pakistan, Turkey, Armenia, and Azerbaijan. So let's look at the numbers. So pre-war, before February 26, the export volume was 1.1 to 1.9 million barrels per day. That means that they had a daily revenue of $115 million. $115 million at those prices. And then peak crisis, March 2026, they were exporting 1.1 million barrels per day. That means that their daily revenue increased during the crisis to $139 million in daily revenue. But currently at 300,000 barrels per day, their daily revenue is $30 million of daily revenue. So $30 million. But I think what this is not taking into account is net profit, because their daily revenue is dropped to 30 million, but the cost of moving barrels via land is much higher than the cost of moving oil on ships. So we need to compare the profit as well. So what if we take into account that the cost of moving oil on land is much higher than on ships? How would that change the calculation? How would that change the profit, not just the revenue? So let's also look at that. Guys, this is like some deep stuff here, right? Like nobody else is going through the numbers like this the way we are. This is like some high level stuff. So you guys who are listening to us, you're basically part of the elite. Let me go here. You're listening to like really high level stuff. Let us know. Let us know if you want us to dig into this. Like if you have any questions. Oh, BT is saying, how much would it cost us to stop those trucks? Probably more. Oh, Miss. Yeah, right. You should do that. Let me see. Okay. When you switch from ships to truck, you aren't just losing money on gas, you're basically destroying your profit margins. Exactly. Let's look at this. So cost factor, maritime. So market price would be for maritime and land would be the same. Okay. 106 at current prices. Sanction discount, maritime and land would be the same. Let's say $18, maritime, land would be the same. Production. So you're making 106 per barrel. Sanctions discount minus 18. Production cost minus 12. That's also the same. Maritime minus 12. Land minus 12. Okay. Transport costs. Here's the difference. Okay. Per barrel, maritime transport cost is $3. Land is 25. There's the big difference. Okay. So per barrel, you're making the same 106. Sanction discount is the same. Maritime land 18 minus 18. Production cost is the same. Minus 12. Transport cost, maritime minus 3. Land minus 25. Oof. That is big. Okay, so the net profit for maritime is 73. For land is 51. If we basically do the 106 that we originally had. But we also have to then take into account that it's only 300,000. So moving 300,000 barrels by truck requires a fleet of roughly 1,500 to 2,000 tanker trucks every single day. And you also have a wartime risk premium. Land routes through the mountains to Turkey or Pakistan now include high insurance and security escorts, fees that don't exist on the open sea. And then we also have infrastructure bottlenecks. Unlike a 2 million barrel super tanker, trucks must pay individual border tolls, transit fees, and bribes to bypass local restrictions. So the basically profit per barrel has dropped approximately 30% purely because of the transport method. And when it comes to the total daily income, before the blockade, Iran was netting roughly 110 to 130 millions per day. Today, with 300,000 moving by land at lower profit, they are lucky to net 15 to 18 million per day.
If that.
15.
Guys, so profit margins for an oil company outside of the Middle East is if they're doing great, 10%. 10% profit margin. If you just raised your cost of doing business by like 25% to make it go over by land, yeah.
So when you compare the revenues, the difference is not as significant. Like it's 1/3, still a big deal. But when you compare the profit, then holy crap. So if you only compare the revenues, you think that it dropped to 1/3, right, of what it used to be. But if you compare the profit, it dropped to 1/10, close to 1/10 of where it used to be. Oh, but also BT has a point. Armin, they're using it as a loss when filing their 2026 taxes with the IRS. Oh, okay. There's also that. They're saving money on that.
You know, she says that, but I don't doubt that actually. Like there are shell companies, so.
Wow. But guys,
Okay.
Nobody broke this down to this level of detail. We're like really nerdy here on the stream. This is the nerdiest analysis of the current conflict in Iran that you will find anywhere on the internet. This is the most nerdy version of this analysis of the war.
So
and I love it. I don't know.
So they can keep the wells alive by doing that.
What? Say that again. Oh yeah.
So they can keep the wells alive, but they won't make any money. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, they're doing us a favor. This is great.
Yeah. So, but I mean, gets messy if they start dumping. If they're not making any money, it might end up being cheaper to dump it into the sea. So that's when we have to worry about, our environment.
Yeah. Someone asked where are they driving from, and which scene are we using? 1 or 2?
Oh,
2, right?
2. I should actually name these properly so that you could know what to do. But before you go to that, look at this. BT Jun is saying, Arian, Aryan analysis is the superior analysis. Yeah, and don't you forget that. Don't you forget that. Oh my God, YouTube is gonna take us down. No. Yeah, but it's true. It's true. What do I say? I mean, I can't deny it.
Ugh,
Well,
why do
thank you, BT.
spell
Thank you for the
that?
super chat.
Asalia.
And Neil Bunny saying it's yes, it's numbers fun with Ali and Armin. And then we had Roman Viking saying, could they use Iranians as slaves to work on the facilities? That would make production cheaper. I mean, I don't think Iranians that will start an immediate new phase of the mass uprising. So I don't think so. No, they wouldn't be able to do that. How would you force them into slavery?
What
Like,
a
no.
what a question, by the way.
Yeah. It just, I mean, we should consider everything. So no, the Iranian people would not allow that. They would rather die, and that will immediately trigger the next uprising.
We haven't had slaves in
But-
Iran for like 3,000 years. Like we
We kind of
Iranians
didn't really have slavery in Iran, and I don't think we had significant forms of slavery in Iran ever.
Well, remember since Kurosh, yeah, there were no slaves. I don't think. Like that Iranians,
pretty
there's
sure.
like if there was an Iranian government, there were no slaves. But before that, yeah, probably.
I mean, I need to double check that. I don't want to give. I mean, we're biased because we're Iranian, so I want to make sure
True.
that our bias
People
is
tell
not
me that
giving
all the
us-
time. I tell them like, hey, did you know we invented the refrigerator? Did you know we invented polo, the sport? Did you know we invented high heels, algebra? And they're like, well, you're just saying that because you're Iranian. But
Okay, I
someone
was
asked
wrong
where
about the
their-
slavery.
Oh,
I was
no,
wrong
what
about the
happened?
slavery. No, it's okay. Like, we did have slavery. I mean, Cyrus the Great freed a whole bunch of slaves, but apparently we did have slavery. So take that back.
Damn.
Yeah.
Well, forget we said that, folks.
Oh, we had most of our slavery was after Islam came to Iran. Okay, that makes sense. Okay,
That's
so
weird.
yeah. Okay, never mind, guys. We did have slavery, but that's because Iran became after the Islamic invasion and being taken over by Islam. Then we had a lot of slavery, apparently. Yeah, okay. So that makes sense.
Real quick, someone asked where they're shipping their trucks out from. Saeed Ghassaninja believes that they're shipping their trucks from here.
Oh,
Yeah. This is where he thinks. But that's an airport, so that's interesting. Huh.
wait, how does that work? Like,
So
wait,
he's
what's the
saying that
route?
he's saying that they're exporting from here, which is an airport, which is very interesting. But there's no
What do you mean
flights.
exporting? You're there, or like on a Is he talking about the land route?
Yeah, so he said this. He said Iranian naphtha exports from Asaluye.
Well, Saluya is like a city, so I'm like they have an airport, they have everything. So it's just because they have an airport doesn't mean Asaluya is a major, it's a city that is like a very important city for the oil infrastructure.
Why did it take me there then? Where's the city?
What is the NAPHTHA stand for?
Naphtha. Let me see. I'm assuming it's some type of maybe. Let's see. Highly flammable, volatile liquid. It's just a type of fuel.
Okay, let me see.
Mainly used in the production of plastics and petrochemicals.
A lot of the exports happening from Asaluya. How do you spell Asaluya in English? So yeah, Asaluya is a city that we need to keep an eye on. A lot of people keep talking about Khark Island, but Asaluya is also very important.
And then there
me see.
was
Guys, ask us questions. We'd like to
Yeah,
we'd
someone
like
asked
to
us
keep this
something.
engaging. Yeah, show me any questions you have. Oh, how dire is the food situation? Do IRGC have more access to food? Yes. Will Iranian be physically able to fight? Okay, so the situation with the food is malnutrition because of higher food prices. It's not starvation, it's malnutrition. So a lot of people are switching to lower quality food. And a lot of the types of food that the Iranian people are used to is not affordable anymore. What? Do you see something?
Wait, so we calculated 1.5 billion for 300,000 IRGC, right? When we're
Yeah.
talking about
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well,
they're never getting there. They're never even getting to 500 million, much less 1.5 billion.
wait, what was that? This is daily. What was that?
So that was the okay, let's just go with monthly. So let's just say daily they're getting 30 million. And let's just be very generous from oil. How much should we add on top of that for other exports? Like other ways that the IRGC can make money?
Let me actually double check the numbers that we had before because I want to make sure we don't get this wrong.
Yeah. And while he does that,
So that was annually. Annually,
1.5 billion annually. Okay. Okay, so they still need like 150 million ish a month, a little bit less than that.
So
this was 30 million a day.
Yes.
Okay.
So that means that so 15 million a day. That means you need 5.5 billion annually.
Wait, what? 5.5 billion annually for what?
So 15 million daily. So 15 million times 365, right?
Yeah.
That would get you to 5.5 billion a year. That's how much they're making. Oh, so yeah, that's how much they're making annually. So they're making 5.5 billion.
Okay, if they last a year, and now that they've narrowed down to the only way that they can transport oil, assuming that they don't get hit. Okay, so amongst our rough calculations, which makes sense that they would have enough money to do this, which is why the regime maybe hasn't.
So we need to bring them down to under $4 million a day, so that they cannot pay for enough armed forces to suppress the Iranian people. That is if the Iranian people remain unarmed. If the Iranian people remain unarmed, to guarantee a successful uprising by the Iranian people, you need to bring their income from oil to under $4 million daily.
Let's do 100,000 barrels, because that's what Said Qasai was projecting. 100,000, 90, so 900 million. I want to wipe my nose, but I can't with my hands.
Oh, we got it. Got $1 super sticker from Johnny B Bad 666 1 John FK Page. Thank you so much for the $1 super chat. Also, can I bring the question that you brought, like the food security, because I want to answer that. Yeah. And we need to go soon because I don't want to.
Oh yeah.
Get this too long. Oh, I also want to make sure that we're not streaming at the same time that Goldie is streaming. Let me see. Okay, no, Goldie is not streaming yet. We have time. what was the question that somebody asked about food security? Because I want to find the answer to that. Because I got messages from Iran. I have anecdotal data regarding food security, but I want to see. Oh, here.
This one.
What is the food situation? Okay, let's dig into that.
Okay, so I'm going to do 100,000 barrels.
And Roman Vikings 95. Thank you for asking that. That shows the level of care that you have for the Iranian people. I really do appreciate you guys caring. Oh, are you having problem with your nose because of the cat?
Yeah.
Oh, I think it's because he touched the cat.
Okay, so 100,000 barrels at $60. So we're taking into account the discount. So that's 2.1 billion, 100,000 barrels at $60 a year, 2.1 billion a year. But this is not accounting for their cost of operating. Okay, so it's definitely less. So it's in the 1 billion range. Yeah,
I want to go to. Is it possible? Here's the thing. Here's what I think. Just arm the Iranian people, and we will already get to the situation where this is going to be unaffordable, like that. Instead of having to wait for all of this for us to get to those levels, based on our analysis, if the Iranian people are even armed, even just a little bit, it will completely change the calculation, and the Islamic Republic will not be able to afford suppressing the Iranian people.
Exactly. And if I was an analyst in the United States military intelligence, I would have first calculated how long it would take for the regime to fall if I didn't do anything. And then I would calculate how long it would take if I did arm the Iranian people. And I would give the time difference as two different plans and the cost and everything.
Also, that's a good idea. And then what I would do also would compare the cost of arming the Iranian people compared to the cost of the U.S. military operations if we wanted to do all of that ourselves, and show how significantly lower that would be. You know what I should do? We should do that.
Which someone actually did calculate for us. Ooh. So let me look at that. Someone that we know and trust.
Mind blown. Can you send that to me?
Yeah, let me find it.
Yeah, BT saying surely they've done that already. Oh, no, they haven't. They have not done that, BT. Because look at what Nina is saying. Nina is saying they should have you as an advisory analyst. Yes, BT, they have not done that, and they should reach out to Ali and I.
Okay, let me send this to you on Telegram. You open it. It's by our dear friend.
Ooh. It's the suspense. Who is it?
Well, you know who it is. In our,
okay. Okay. Let's bring this up. Wait, can we say his name, or he doesn't want us to say his name?
I don't know. I thought you'd probably know better than me, but basically the bottom number is it would take between 570 million to 1.36 billion for the training and arming of 22 weeks of training.
So, employment and contribution capacity, Iranian descent, North America. Okay. Conclusion: the employment landscape of individuals of Iranian descent in the United States and Canada reflects a robust, high-performing. I'll go over this, and maybe next stream we could actually basically analyze the numbers. Okay. But I do want to talk about food. Just the food situation, okay? So because a lot of people keep asking us how's the food situation in Iran, and we never, like, we tell them stories of the people who are talking to us from Iran, but we don't give them numbers. And our, like, we are trying to keep Ali and I, the stream that we do, Ali and I here is like high level. Like we want to do nerdy stuff here. Okay, so let's do that. The food situation in Iran as of May 14th, 2026 is currently critical. The country is grappling with a severe cost of living crisis fueled by an ongoing, obviously, regional war, which began in late February 2026, and a tight naval blockade on its ports that has been in effect since April 13, 2026. So here's the detailed breakdown. So we have skyrocketing food inflation. Food prices have reached unprecedented levels, far outstripping the average citizen's ability to pay, according to the latest reports from the Statistical Center of Iran and Independent Economic Analysis. So here we have cooking oil. Cooking oil prices for solid vegetable oil have surged by a staggering 375% year on year. Liquid oil follows closely with 308% increase. Stable grains, first grade imported rice is up 209%. Protein and dairy, industrial chicken prices have risen by 191%. These are year over year numbers, guys, by the way. And eggs by 170%. Meat is becoming a luxury item that many middle class families can no longer afford. Guys, we're talking about middle class families that cannot eat meat anymore, not poor families, okay? And then we have sugar. Prices have spiked recently, with bulk sugar now officially priced at roughly 950,000 riyals per kilograms at factory gates. And then we have the bread crisis. This is the May 2026 update. As of the past week, May 6th to 14th, a new wave of price hikes has targeted breads, the most essential staple for the poor. And we have official hikes. Prices for traditional bread like lavash, sangak, and barbari were officially raised across various provinces, Hamadan, Isfahan, Tehran, due to rising production costs for yeast, energy, and labor. Market reality in many cities, bakeries have moved to free pricing. So those are the official government prices, because it's command economy where the prices are set by the government. This is actually like one of the curses upon Iran is not just Islam, is basically this command economy that we inherited from the communists, apparently. But some bakeries are illegally moved to free pricing, with a single loaf of bread, Barbary bread, reaching up to 165,000 riyals in some urban areas. And then we have impact of the naval blockade. The U.S.-led naval blockade on the Strait of Hormuz and Iranian ports has severely disrupted the import of essential. I think people want to know how this impacts people's lives, right? So how has this affected people's lives and what they can eat? That's what I want to know. Because that's what I want to know. Yeah. So let me actually look at the shortages. You wanted to say something?
Yeah, the latest info I have is that because meat itself is so expensive, other things like the price of eggs and beans, other sources of protein, have risen up astronomically. So if you want to break a single egg and fry it and eat it, you have to now think about that decision. Like, are you sure you want to spend that money? Cooking oil, all of these things are so expensive. So basically, food has gotten so expensive that if you do want to provide for yourself and your family, which most people have, you're going to sell your jewelry, furniture, car, other things, because a lot of people are also, they're struggling to get income in. That's the situation. So Armin talks about malnutrition. The food is available. It just costs so much that you're resorting to buying cheaper things, emptier calories. And so you're going to end up being malnourished.
Yeah, that's what I want to know. I want to know if this is causing malnutrition or starvation. But let me tell you how people's lives have changed. Okay, so the current food crisis has moved beyond simple high prices and has fundamentally reshaped the daily lives, health, and cultures of millions. As of May 14th, survival eating has become the new normal for many households. Holy crap, that sounds horrible. Survival eating. So let's look at the breakdown. I mean, actually, let's see what that actually looks like. Here's a breakdown of how this is affecting what people eat and how they live. So we have the empty table, which people call in Iran, they call it sofra khali. In Iran, the traditional sofre, or the dining cloth, has drastically shrunk. The middle class is now facing the same dietary restrictions previously reserved for the extreme poor. Meat is a memory, with lamb and beef reaching 2 million tumans per kilogram. Families have almost entirely stopped buying red meat. Many now use soy protein flakes or extra bread as a filler in stews, like khoresh, that used to be meat heavy. And then we have the bread dependency. Bread has become the primary calorie source. However, with the 140% hike in bread prices this month, even this is a struggle. People are waiting in lines for hours at subsidized bakeries. This is what people don't understand. People think like the government is doing you a favor when it subsidizes good. All you're doing is that you're causing shortages because it's not the natural price. So without subsidies, things would be more expensive. But with subsidies, some people get it at a lower price and some people don't get it at all. That's what subsidies do. You cause shortages. So people are waiting in lines for hours at subsidized bakeries, and many are eating dry bread soaked in tea or water for dinner. They're eating dry bread soaked in tea or water. And then we have traditional snacks and delicacies have been replaced by cheaper, bulkier items. Instead of pistachios and sweets, families are serving roasted pumpkin seeds, chickpeas, and raisins. Lifestyle shifts. Many families in Tehran and Isfahan are moving to the outskirts of cities or moving back in with the elderly parents to pull resources just to keep the kitchen running. So what the hell? No, I don't want to do this one. So the health, they're comparing it to anyone. Okay, the health impact, hidden hunger. We're seeing it. No, that's a global impact. I'm just focused on Iran right now. So let's see in regards to malnutrition and starvation. While Iran has not yet reached states of official national famine, the country is currently enduring a widespread malnutrition crisis, and the imminent threat of mass starvation is in several regions. Oh wow! So not only we're having malnutrition crisis in some regions, we're also having the imminent threat of mass starvation. So malnutrition is not a risk; it's a reality. So starvation, we're at high risk with starvation, but malnutrition is already here. So malnutrition is no longer just a risk; it is a visible reality. International health organizations have reported a sharp decline in public health markers since the conflict and blockade began in February. So in provinces like Sistan, Baluchistan, and Hormuzgan, of course, there's always these places. Cases of severe. What is this? I don't even know. Severe wasting? What does that mean?
Like you're starved so much that you're like your body's burning up your muscles and everything to keep alive.
Oh, severe wasting is a serious medical condition characterized by rapid involuntary loss of muscle and fat tissue. I didn't know that. So we have case of severe wasting. Children being dangerously thin for their height have increased by nearly 9% in the past 3 months. And then we have micronutrient collapse. Because families have cut out meat, eggs, and dairy, there is a surge in hidden hunger. This is horrible. Deficiencies in vitamin D, zinc, and iron are now affecting over 60% of children under 5 in low-income urban areas. The bread-only diet, many households have moved to a diet consisting almost entirely of subsidized bread. This lacks the protein and vitamins necessary for brain development in children and immune health in the elderly. So we're not as starvation level. So we are definitely at malnutrition levels. But with starvation, we'll see how close we are to starvation levels. Well, starvation basically means death from lack of food, is not yet being reported in massive singular events like a famine. The conditions for it are being, artificially created by the current economic conditions. Let me see. Large portions of the Iranian population have been classified as being in IPC phase crisis and phase 4 emergency food insecurity. Phase 5 would be famine. The threat of 45 million, the World Food Program warned yesterday that if the naval blockade is not lifted by June, 45 million more people in the region, including massive portion of Iran, will fall into acute hunger or worse. All right. Those are the numbers.
This is a big reason as to why Prince Recep Pahlavi's team did not like the ceasefire one bit.
Shit.
And this is not due to the US and Israel. This is due to the mismanagement of the Islamic Republic for decades. These areas that were already so poor are now bearing the brunt. Like if something goes wrong, these areas that were struggling to stay afloat are now under, and that is the IRGC's fault.
Yeah. BT saying, Soapbox mentioning food shortage limit, how much time people have to revolt or their strength to do so. Oh yeah, so people are wondering if they get too starved, would they lose their strength to do so? I don't know. Is there anything that suggests that when people get too hungry, they wouldn't be able to? I don't know.
At the malnourishment stage, no, they would still come out. But if we're well into the starvation phase, then yes, you have problems with people coming out.
And guys, no, they can't just migrate like that. First, like somebody saying, can they migrate to Turkmenistan or another country for food? Like it's not like there's food waiting. Like there is food in Iran. Okay, they just can't afford it because they're not making any money, and things are very expensive. So if they go to Turkmenistan, they cannot like carry their jobs with them. So they would be even in bigger trouble because yes, there's food. Like if there's food in Turkmenistan, there's also food in Iran that they can't afford. So if you go to Turkmenistan, you don't have a job. So there's food in Turkmenistan, but you wouldn't be able to access it because you can't afford it. So it would be the same problem.
Also, can you name one country that would be willing to take in Iranian refugees?
Yeah, no. So somebody's saying, why can't we drop food? Dropping food is for, population. Like we're talking about like a population of close to 90 million Iranians. So that is like the food drops would be like a drop in an ocean.
Yeah, that's the biggest reason. But also, let's just say you did drop food. What's to stop the IRGC from taking it? And even if they didn't take it, how are you going to ensure people to distribute that? Because people, especially like throughout history, this is just it's happened a billion times. Whenever there's a food shortage, people hoard food and they don't give it to other people. So who's going to distribute it?
Yeah, actually, your first point is actually very important. If you do food drops, you could be guaranteed that you're giving an income generator to the IRGC. They will be the first to be able to access it. In the same way that Hamas has gotten rich off of the food aid in Gaza. Yeah, exactly. Some Roman Vikings saying same shitty problems as in Gaza. Exactly. That's a actually very good point, Ali, by the way. So here's the summary. Child malnutrition, we're already there. Child malnutrition is already there at a high level in Iran. Acute hunger, we're at emergency. Starvation risk is critical. Famine status, we're at imminent threat. So now I understand Saeed Qasim a lot more than before for why he's against just continuing with the naval blockade, and he wants something to be done immediately with toppling the regime.
So now, so now we understand why the economic timer is there.
Yeah.
Yeah, isn't it? You know, everything that we think about comes down to two things. That the regime has to go completely, and that the people are the key no matter which way you think about it.
Yeah. BT saying, Armin, have any photos surfaced on weight loss? I know internet is off, but those pictures should get in. Well, I mean, all I'm seeing is graphs. Like I'm seeing stuff. No, not this one. Like this. So I'm not seeing any pictures of children. I'm just saying like this is from worldhunger.org. Like everything is just showing like numbers and graphs and stuff like that. I'm not seeing any pictures of children.
Yeah. Well, tomorrow, what we're going to talk about is we're going to go back to the calculation of the revenue for the Islamic Republic. And then we're also going to talk about the ways and the costs of support for the Iranian people. A couple stuff pulled up for that already. But if you guys want, remember, today Trump is in China, and we can end this with a statement from Marco Rubio, taken on the plane, which is about, I think it's a minute long. But some people had some questions. Should we answer those?
Yeah, maybe let's do that first, and then we go to that video. Roman Viking saying, Armin Ali, what percentage of Bandar Abbas population would join a liberation army? That's a very difficult, question to answer. But me, when I say we should liberate Bandar Abbas, it's not just for the people in Bandar Abbas to join the Liberation Army. It's from people all around Iran to be able to come to whoever wants to fight, to be able to come from wherever they are in Iran to Bandar Abbas to get vetted, trained, and then armed. So it wouldn't just be the people in Bandar Abbas. It would be like anybody from any city could travel to Bandar Abbas to join the army. Bitsin, can either of you please post that on X? Which one?
I think the World Health.
Oh, okay. I'll just send it to you. I don't know what I'm posting. Like, I just got, I get this information summarized to me from AI, and then I look at the sources. So I want to make sure that the rest of the piece that I am looking at is, I have to, here, I'll just send you the link, because the information I'm getting is like pulling from so many different places, not just one place. And then I also look at the sources to make sure that they're legit sources. But I could just send it to you on school.
Yeah. So I'll go ahead and play this statement then.
Oh, play it fast because we need to Goldie's live, so we need to end this.
And they'll have a chance to do something about it at the United Nations later this week when there's a resolution just condemning Iran on what they're doing with the Straits. Look, there's three things. The Chinese have ships stuck in the Persian Gulf because setting up a system that says we're going to let certain ships through but others not, it's easier said than done. And you saw a Chinese, not Chinese flag vessel, but it was a Chinese cargo, got hit over the weekend. I'm sure Iran didn't do it deliberately, but they did it. It happened. And so that's why these Chinese ships are stuck in there. The second is, I don't think that China, it's a huge source of instability. It threatens to destabilize Asia more than any other part of the world because it's heavily reliant on the Straits for energy. And the third reason is because China's economy is export driven, meaning their economy is fueled not by what they consume domestically, but by what they make and sell to other countries. Well, if all the countries of the world economies are melting down because of this crisis in the Straits, they're going to be buying less Chinese product and the Chinese exports are going to drop precipitously. So it's in their interest to resolve this. We hope to convince them to play a more active role in getting Iran to walk away from what they're doing now and trying to do now in the Persian Gulf.
Oh, Persian Gulf. Thank you.
Yes, the Persian Gulf. He's always been on our side.
Always. Marco with the best takes. All right, guys, we need to end this right now. So Goldie is live, so go watch that. And we don't want to be streaming at the same time with Goldie, so I'm going to end this right now. And yeah, so I'm Israel Chai. Long live America. Javid Shah.
Payandera.
Payandera. See you guys same time tomorrow. Bye, guys.